How's it going, everyone? And welcome back to another episode of our venture in the visual novel Adventure of a Lifetime. Last episode, we got to experience the Bond Festival. And we also learned some things about the clothing attire that's often worn, the yukata, which was referred to as a bathrobe before, but then it was then retrofitted into the concepts of special events. So I was not aware of that at the time, to which Machiko's Cafe did quite a bit of record sales with shark burgers, as we found out about that also. Then, of course, upon being sold out, things kind of slowed down a bit. But I'm sure the one that you are all worried about and concerned about is, who are we going to pick, either Chisa or Emily, to hang out with us in the festival during some of the downtime or during some of the slower times of Machiko's Cafe. So with that, we're going to see who it is we're going to pick this time around. So who should I pick? Well, ultimately, Chisa's got her qualities. She helps anyone who is in need. So that is absolutely fantastic. Emily, I guess you could say she's a little bit on the reckless side in a way. So that can be an issue within itself. And of course, Chisa, who is the childhood friend. Emily, who's come here and just completely on her own. So, okay, how about this? I'm going to do this because people can change over time. So I think what I would like to try to do is let Hiroki patch things up with Chisa and try to get better acquainted, try to get better bonded from their childhood and everything. And since Machiko does have a caring factor of Emily, then maybe Emily and Machiko can spend a little bit more time together. So I think what I will do is I'll actually let Chisa hang out with Hiroki in that regard. Okay, Chisa, you ready to go on break? Why are you so surprised? Oh, quit being so modest. Quit being so modest. You look fantastic yourself. And yes, folks, I'm a sucker for ponytails. Sue me. What are you talking about? I said I want to go with you. So, ready to go? Chisa joined me, but seemed really nervous for some reason. The sound of Geta walking behind me could be heard. So Geta is old-fashioned Japanese wooden footwear. In recent years, it has become popular to wear them on festivals paired with yukata. I figured that's what it was. I slowed down. Chisa smiled at me, slightly embarrassed, as she came up alongside. I would imagine. Chisa looked like she wasn't used to walking in her yukata. Why not? I think it looks great on you. What's wrong? Strange girl. Maybe she didn't want me to see her dressed up like that since we've been friends since we were kids. That explained why she wouldn't walk next to me, but stayed a few steps behind. To be honest, this was better for my nerves. Even though I was so used to being around Chisa, with her dressed in a yukata, I was mostly at a loss for words. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, they look really fantastic in them. For the moment, we maintained an awkward distance as we walked around the festival. In the main area was a wooden stage with people dancing in a circle around it and more food stalls, much like our own. It's as lively as ever. We have a Bond festival back home, but it's nowhere near as exciting here. What?
だって知らないもん、よそのことなんか。ヒロキと違ってさ。
Chisa's mood darkened as she spoke. Do you want to dance? Since you're all dressed up and everything.
いいけど。
And so, despite Chisa's grumpy face, when I entered the dance circle, she followed right after. Chichijima's Bond Festival was well known for being rather intense. Along with having a lot of people, it seemed like everyone had their own bit of style to add to the dance. Tourists often got swept into action too, so in the end, it was a great mix of young, old, women, and men. It was really fun. Oh yeah, it went like this.
違うよ、こう。
Chisa showed me the moves, and I copied her as I danced. Like this?
そうそう、うまいうまい。
I was always really excited about the Bond Festival when I visited as a kid.
ねえ、盆踊りいつ？明日？ってマチコばあちゃんにしつこく聞いてたよね。
Oh, wow. This was my first time at the Bond Festival since I was in elementary school, and I almost felt like a little kid again. Say, Chisa, do you come here every year?
私？久しぶりだよ。
Is that so?
なんで？
Oh, nothing. All those summers I spent away, the only thing I could do was reminisce about the Bond Festival and the time I spent here. Naturally, I assumed that Chisa, Ryota, and Shinami all continued going to the festival, even when I wasn't here. But I guess I was wrong. It was probably too embarrassing to go to the local festival after a certain age. And then we heard someone off to the side say, "Hey, isn't that the dolphin girl?" One of the tourists dancing seemed to realize who Chisa was. And once the others caught a glimpse of the dolphin girl in yukata, a crowd gathered. Just like a celebrity. Chisa couldn't focus on dancing with so many people watching her. I couldn't stand to see her so uncomfortable, so I made a suggestion. Want to get out of here?
どこに？
To see the fireworks. It's about time, right?
ああ、そっか。行く。
Very gentlemanlike, Hiroki. Good job. Having found the perfect free tents, Chisa and I excused ourselves from the Bond dance circle.
もう嫌になっちゃうよ。
You complain, but you didn't ask them to go away.
しょうがないじゃない。島の発展のためだとか言われちゃったらさ。
The Dolphin Girl character had already become a draw for tourists and was apparently way more famous than I or Chisa had thought.
九太郎を触ろうと追いかけ回す人もいたりして、結構困ってるのよね。
But there's no way they'd catch him, right?
まあね、逆にからかって遊んでるけど。
As we walked, and I let Chisa vent, we slowly made our way over to Omura Beach. The fireworks display was held the same day as the Bond Festival, and the best place to watch it was from Omura Beach. Quite a few people
だ
out.
ね。
The beach wasn't totally packed, but a large crowd of people had come to watch the fireworks. There were families and groups of friends, but the couple stood out the most. Then Chisa moved in closer to me and took my hand.
こうしてないと不仲カップルみたいに見えちゃうでしょ。
She said, her voice full of resignation. I guess that would be a problem, seeing as we do get along and all.
そういうこと。
Of course, it didn't matter to me how we were looked at by other people. But if it meant we could hold hands, that was fine with me. You know, we held hands all the time as kids.
そうだったかしら。
Chisa looked like she was feigning ignorance at my remark. Back when we were kids, we didn't need a reason to hold hands. We just wanted to hold hands, so we did. That was reason enough. I I guess growing up meant that we needed to explain the reason behind our actions now. With that in mind, I looked at my childhood friend who was growing into a young woman.
何？
I was just remembering how tomboyish she used to be.
悪かったわね。女の子っぽくなくて。
She looked away in irritation, her ponytail swinging around viciously. All of that was ancient history. Ever so often, there were small glimpses of the old Chisa, but she was anything but a tomboy now.
だから、そんなに見ないでってば。
Why not?
なんでって、そりゃ。
Just then, suddenly from the distance, we heard a shrill whistling noise peer through the air. It's pyro time! Together with the low swell of an explosion, a flower of light bloomed into the sky.
始まった！
Wow. All across the beach, gasps of excitement could be heard. As the fireworks went up, one after another, Chisa and I watched speechless.
久しぶりに見ると綺麗だね、花火。
You didn't come to see the fireworks?
家の窓から眺めるくらいだったかな。
Oh man, that's a waste. These fireworks were so close, and she didn't even have to worry about crappy traffic.
だって、つまんないんだもん。
What? You're kidding, right? I didn't understand how anyone could call this spectacle, this continuous shower of light in the sky, boring. Or did something like this just get boring after seeing it year after year?
そんなことあるよ。
Chisa said as she raised her face.
今夜はそうでもないけどさ。
I'll bet you it's because Hiroki is here. The brilliant rainbow of colors of each explosion of light in the dark sky made her eyes shine. But the light became distorted by tears.
盆踊りも花火も楽しさ半分だよ。バディがいないと。
I think choosing her this time around was a good idea. Chisa.
なんてね。
Oh, you are so mean. She meant it. I don't buy that. She meant it. You meant it. I don't care what you say. You meant it.
私はこの島しか知らないから、よそから来た人たちみたいにありがたみがわかんないんだよね。
As Chisa joked around, she finally noticed that I'd been staring at her.
ヒロキ？何よさっきから私のことなんかじっと見て。
You don't realize your own charm, do you?
なんか照れるんですけど。
You're so different than you used to be. It's like you've really grown up.
浴衣効果かな？
Could be. She glared at me. When we were little, Chisa always said it was too hard to run in a yukata, so she never wore one. She still complained now, but she was still wearing one. She had grown inwardly and outwardly into a young woman that looked good in a yukata. As I looked at Chisa, I could feel my heart racing and my palms getting sweaty. I moved my gaze to the display above in an attempt to hide my nervousness. Chisa, why don't you go scuba diving anymore?
めんどくさいから。
that the only reason?
それだけだよ。なんで？
Because you really loved diving.
素潜りでも潜れるじゃん。
That was true. Chisa's free diving went well beyond the kind of good swimmer level. When you're that good at swimming, scuba gear might just slow you down.
どうしてそんなこと聞くの？
It's just been bothering me. Guess I kinda thought it was my fault. Especially after the last time we went diving, remember?
うぬぼれすぎ。なになに、自分のせいで私が大好きなことをやめちゃったって思ってた？
Ugh, never mind. I never should have asked. I only asked because I was worried. But now I had heard all of this.
マチコばあちゃん、本当にこの夏で店を閉める気なんだね。
Oh yeah, seems like it. She had grown tired over the years, but after the problems with her legs, she couldn't take it anymore. We'd had a long and difficult conversation about it. I really wish I could take over the shop now. That was obviously impossible. I hadn't even finished high school.
寂しくなるな。カフェマチコがなくなっちゃったら。
Yeah, I know a lot of locals wouldn't take the news very well. Over half the customers were regulars that lived on the island.
それに、マチコばあちゃんの店がなくなっちゃったら、ヒロキが島に来る理由もなくなっちゃうね。
Huh?
夏が終わったら、仕事置いてけぼりだ。
Chisa's melancholy voice was mostly drowned out by the sound of the fireworks, and I could barely hear her. What? Sorry, the fireworks are really loud.
ですね。ほら、見て見て、花火綺麗だよ。
The fireworks were pretty, but I couldn't tear myself away from the somber expression ever present on Chisa's face. When we got back to the festival grounds, Chisa dropped my hand and ran over to the others.
たったい
おう、おかえり。
まー。おかえりなさい、ちさ。ねえ、花火見てきたの？どうだった？いやー、綺麗だね。日本の夏といえば花火だね。いいなー。
Emily said, jumping excitedly.
店番変わるから、エミリーたちも行っといでよ。ちなみに行くわよ。あいあいさ。
Ryota, you go too. I can handle the stall.
おう、頼んだ。
早くしないと終わっちゃう。急ぎましょう。
The three of them headed off to Omura Beach.
さてと、いらっしゃいませ。アイスコーヒーとスムージーいかがですか？
And with that, we're going to see how things progresses on the next episode. Cliffhangers. So it looks like the two of them got to do a little bit of reconciliation and a little catching up, which I thought was kind of appropriate and may begin to balance some things out in that regard. So sometimes that can work in that regard. So with that, I want to thank everyone for watching this time around. If you like what you saw, maybe consider leaving a like. And if you'd like to see more, if you haven't already, maybe consider subscribing. And until next time, happy mixing, everyone.